thank you.
He's going to bring them to the front door after the meeting. So I told Michelle to make sure nobody escapes from that figure.
Golf chair's going to be forward.
What are they doing? They're fixing the bumpers.
Fixing the bumpers.
I wish I could have been here to point out they could save a lot of money by just filling them in.
Mr. Estes, you wouldn't want that. It's got to be trapped in sand.
Is Mr. Estes on for the
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm sure the mayor will ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I pulled that thing out, so Sam gets
It
that.
appears to me we're hiring the same guy that was driving that first time.
Yes, we are. Or at least Miss Designer last time. Miss Designer the first time.
Thank you. I was just, I guess. Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to do the same thing I did at the beginning last week.
Yep, do it.
Orange.
So if the Bergin contract, the SPLOST budget amendment is before the Bergin contract.
Okay.
So if the Bergin contract is on the SPLOST budget amendment, so we almost need to do the contract first. Can we switch around the agenda items at all?
I don't have a problem. Did you think they're going to deny Bergen?
I don't know. They might.
Okay. Well, have you got to do your budget amendment tonight?
We can table it to the next round.
Well, why don't you see how they vote on Bergen? Get her to
To reverse the agenda?
yeah,
Okay.
and then if they don't pass Bergen, then ask them to table the
Okay.
So what do you want me to do?
We're gonna reverse the order.
to take Bergen first.
So I need to take Bergen before I take the budget.
Yeah, yeah.
Mark is going to do the Bergen item prior to the SPLOST budget amendment.
Okay.
Because that will, they vote the Bergen down, then we're going to table the SPLOST budget amendment.
Well, I can't move it right now. But
But I think it's both under the finance and you can still.
yeah,
So it's fine, I can do it, okay.
I'll just talk to that one first. Thanks for letting me know.
We apologize for the delay. We had a council member that is on his way, and we will get started shortly. We'll give them a couple of more minutes and then we'll get started. Thank you for your patience. We have 44. That's correct? Yes, sir. We'll call to order the City of Douglasville City Council regular meeting for tonight, which is December the 21st. Merry Christmas in advance. Our invocation will be done by Pastor James Harper, pastor of First Presbyterian Church in the city of Douglasville. After that, we'll have the Mayor Pro Tem lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the invocation.
Let's pray. Sovereign and holy God, as we gather tonight, we do so grateful for those who have stepped up to the plate to be leaders in this community, both elected and those who have been hired, God, and we pray that you would surround them with your angels, that you would support them, strengthen them, give them all the wisdom and the energy they need for this work ahead of them. Most certainly we're all coming to this time of year fatigued and tired from just the normal patterns of life, but also the further complications of this pandemic, and I pray for just that little extra energy, a little extra strength, a little extra desire to serve you well here. And we pray that they would have all the wisdom they need for the issues before them tonight. And may you do a good work in this community through them to bring about the prosperity and the well-being of all the citizens of the city and this county. And we pray these things in Christ's name. Amen. Liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us in the pledge, and Pastor Harper for giving us the invocation. We appreciate you. Merry Christmas to you and your beautiful family. You're welcome. Announcements and presentations. I will go over the protocol for the meeting, and then we will get into our meeting with the agenda that is printed on the screen, and or if you would like a hard copy, is out on the desk. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Douglasville City Council regular meeting. I'm Douglasville's Mayor, Rochelle Robinson. Tonight's meeting is being conducted or in whole or in part by teleconference. We have most of the elected officials in person, but we do have two that are joining us virtually. So I will call your names and for the virtual members. And if you don't mind, once I call your names, if you would respond to present or here, then we will have that noted for the record. City Council Member Samuel Davis.
Present.
Thank you, sir. City Council Member Howard Estes.
Present, Madam Mayor.
Good to hear your voice. Thank you so much. And the other remaining council members, the other 5 are here in person. So thank you so much for that. Those who are wishing to comment during a public hearing or comments from citizens and delegates will be allowed to do so via audio Zoom software. If you are not here in person, we do have a maximum for attendance of 50 people to adhere to Governor Kemp's order, as we are still in the coronavirus pandemic era until we get our vaccine. We're still trying to protect ourselves, so we ask that you would please wear your mask, and which it seems like everyone, you do have your mask on, and that we can only have 50 people at a time in the auditorium, and kind of spread out if you would. This open meeting of the Douglasville Mayor and Council is being conducted or in part by the teleconference, and is consistent with the official code of Georgia annotated section 50-14-1G due to emergency conditions involving public safety in order to mitigate the transmission of the coronavirus and to reduce the risk of COVID-19 illness. That code section, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows local governments to meet by teleconference in the event of emergency, so long as means are afforded for the public to have simultaneous access to the teleconference meeting. For this meeting, we are convening partially by Zoom software, as shown on the city's website, describing how the public may join, which is via YouTube media platform. We did have some concerns last week that were brought to our attention about the audio quality, and from my understanding, my IT director, Mr. Sam Jenkins, has said that that has been remedied. And so we ask the council members to please speak into the microphone so that everyone can hear you, and so that we won't have feedback. We'll turn those up as loud as we can, and the microphone that is afforded for the public to speak in as well. Instructions for our meeting: we ask the applicants and all participants to be advised that this meeting will allow public comment as well. Even if members of the public do not provide comment, participants are advised that people may be listening who do not provide comments, and they're not required to identify themselves. Just know that this meeting is being recorded. This is a regular scheduled council meeting where agenda items are presented, and they will be voted on this evening. We discussed in our work session last Thursday, a legislative work session, so it'll go a little bit differently because we will vote on the items this evening. If the business you're here for is not on the agenda item, we'll ask that you would hold your comments to the end of the meeting during comments from citizens and delegates section for you to discuss your business, and we would ask that you would bring any matters before us that are germane to city business. Just a few more protocol issues, and then we can get right into the meeting. I'll ask that you would please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for us to make our decisions. Only one person speaking at a time, please. Please do not disrupt the order of the meeting by speaking to each other, clapping, or cheering during the conversation. And I'll remind you, we're only required to take public comments during the required public hearings. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, please put those in silent mode or turn those off until after the meeting so they will not be disruptive. Now, this is how the agenda will go. Each agenda item will be handled by the chairperson. After that, the committee chairperson will ask for comments or statements from the audience. There's a maximum of 20 minutes for those in favor and 20 minutes for those in opposition of any matter that is presented. And each person has 5 minutes unless there are more people that want to speak. With a total of 20 minutes, you can split your time up. We would ask that you would please not repeat yourselves for information that we've heard last week at the legislative work session. If you have new information to come forward, please bring that to our attention. When you come forward, please give us your name and address for the record. There's a form that you should have filled out. There are cards out on the desk that you can fill out and give to our city clerk, assistant city clerk, Ms. Candace Jackson. And if you're online, you should have already filled that information out if you're going to speak to us virtually. Once we hear that information, myself and council members will possibly ask clarifying questions before we take a motion from the chair to vote. And votes are passed by majority. This is, again, not as you've heard last week, a question or answer format. Some people do ask questions, but they may be rhetorical. But we are not going into a debating match or answering back and forth in questions. We're just here to receive the information and make our decisions. So I believe that's it. If you have any printed material, please hand that to our Assistant City Clerk, and she'll give it to us. We have received several emails from citizens, and we have some pictures and in different instances, and we have all of that, which is loaded to our iPads, and or we have hard copies. So that is the format for the meeting. And now I will open the floor and move on with our agenda as printed. We are at number 5 on the agenda, and that's minutes for approval. So I open the floor for minutes of the special meeting and executive session of November 30th, 2020, the legislative work session and executive sessions of our December 3rd, 2020, and regular meetings of December 7th, 2020. So there's several meetings in this minutes for approval, November 30th, December 3rd, and December 7th. So I open the floor for a motion to approve these meetings, and it's item 20-467. Motion, open the floor for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Thank you so much, Councilman Adams. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. It's been properly moved in second to approve the minutes as presented. Do we have any comments or questions from council members? Any deletions, any concerns? Councilmember Davis? Councilmember Estes? If I don't hear from you, that means you're good. Okay. So it's been properly moved and second to approve the minutes. Without any further discussion, all those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Item 20-467 is unanimously approved. Now I'll open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Madam Mayor, point of order, we do have an item,
Let's see.
have an item there under the consent agenda. Would we?
If we sure do. Motion to approve the consent agenda. It's authorize myself to sign a corrective deed to Rooker Riverside LLC to correct the legal description for the land received by the city in 2020 land swap.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor. I was wrong in that. It is proper. That's another item I'd ask not to be on there. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was looking at, sometimes the machine looks different from what is printed. So I'll retract that and again open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you so much, Councilman Adams. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Thank you so much, Dr. Byrd. It's been properly moved in second to approve the consent agenda. Do we have any additional comments or questions from council members?
Well, peculiar in this case, we only have one item on the
I
consent
know,
agenda.
isn't it usually like 4 or 5? Maybe that's what threw us off a little
By
bit.
itself,
Yeah, the optics look a little strange. Any other comments from council members? All those in favor of approving this item for the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Thank you so much. The ayes have it. The consent agenda is approved. We'll move on now to item 7, which is Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by the Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll move on to item number 8, which is Finance Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have
You're
two
welcome.
items tonight under finance, and I have been asked to reverse the order of those items.
Okay.
So I will begin with item B rather than A. Authorize the mayor to sign a golf course design agreement with L. William Bergin for design services for a bunker renovation. Mr. Cartwright has come before us during our committees, and we'll invite him to come forward again and give any information that he deems necessary. And then if we have other questions that we may have come up with since committee meeting, we will ask that. So go forward, Mr. Cartwright.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Chris Cartwright, 9090 Rose Avenue, Douglasville, Georgia. So as we discussed in the 5 o'clock meeting, we're here tonight to talk about the contract for Mr. Bill Bergin, the golf course architect who has helped us with some previous projects. We're pleased that to partner with him, if approved. He's done some incredible work at some of the notable clubs in the Southeast, and we are looking to add our name to that list as well. So specifically, we're here talking about a bunker project. Our current bunkers are in much need of repair, redesign, if you will, and so the the contract, I believe, is attachment for you guys for Mr. Bergin's work. And if approved, we would like to move forward with this project. As we discussed earlier, this is a SPLOST project, Parks and Rec item. And you also have the SPLOST budget coming up after us. So I don't know if y'all want a full recap of the project, but we are here to answer any questions, and I have Mr. Bergin here as well.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright. In the essence of time, if there are other questions, by all means, that we need to ask, that's fine, but I see no reason to rehash the entire presentation. Questions, comments?
Yes, sir,
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I don't have a question, just a brief synopsis for maybe the audience who weren't able to listen at the 5 o'clock, is that some of the concerns Councilmember Byrd brought up were about the 18 holes, and if we were doing renovations on bunkers, how would that affect the entire course? And they would one at a time, but you're doing them simultaneously. But it would be 17 holes, and then maybe the golfers would get a discount because you're making betterment for that, the entire course. It would be done hopefully in June, in the summer sometime?
Earlier. Yes, ma'am.
Earlier, okay. PGA is coming later.
They're coming the last week of May, yes.
The last week. I think it was something May, April, May, June. So PGA's coming again, that the resources are still in the park. My issue or question was that line item is still within the Parks and Rec SPLOST pot of money, I would say, and that we're taking some resources that were allocated for the town green, and we're just moving them over, but they're still under SPLOST, and we're going to bond out our town green. So I think that was some of the concerns. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Others? Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I say anything, I don't want to sound like I'm begrudging the golf course of needed funds. I think it's like running any business. You've got to invest in it in order for it to get a good return. So I think, and by any means, I'm not meaning to disrespect the quality of the golf course architect, Mr. Bergin's work, and the quality of that. And certainly I also want to thank Mr. Cartwright for the incredible job he's done turning the golf course around. I think he's done an amazing work up there. My only issue, really, I just want to make a comment, is the mayor pointed out, I mean, basically we're moving money around from all within essentially the same bucket, and so I guess it's a question of what our priorities are. If we, those of us who are more interested in seeing the money spent on the town green, the city manager did explain that we're going to look at more likely a bond issue to fund that. So the question just comes down to, do we think the golf course, how do we spend I'll call it the COVID funds, because we're still under this sort of cloud at the moment, but how do we move forward? Where do we spend that money? And my question is just, is the golf course the best location immediately? And again, I understand the maintenance needs, that makes sense, but I guess it just comes down to that. Where do we want to spend the money first? So that's all, Mr. Chair.
Others?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Chris, did you bid this project out? Are there other?
We have not bid out the project yet. We're getting the architect's contract approved, hopefully, and we have an RFP that I will say is probably 95% ready to go. So once we have all that approved, we'll start the bidding process for the construction of this project.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Others? Is Mr. Estes on the line? Did you have any comment, Mr. Estes? Can you hear me, Mr. Estes? While we're waiting to see if he comes, Coach, did you have a comment?
One thing, and kind of piggybacking off what Councilman Miller said, and maybe clarifying for me and anybody listening, the funds that were going towards the town green, SPLOST funds, it can only be spent a certain way, right? It's already delegated for Parks and Recreation. So that enables us to do what we're doing if we in fact bond out that town green project. Then we got to spend it in Parks and Rec, and not all those funds are going to the golf course. It's if I remember correctly, there was other Parks and Rec things that were gonna be taken care of also with these funds.
Willing workers.
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct, sir. They are being used for other Parks and Rec purposes for the public. And just a reminder, the overall Town Green project is slated to cost around $10 million. So this amount of about $300,000 is only a little less than 5% of the total project for the Town Green.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Did Mr. Estes become, Councilman Estes become available? Can you hear me, Councilman Estes?
I'm unmuted now, and no, I can. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you, sir. I think as just a closing comment from what Councilman Miller and Councilman Watts have mentioned, I want to make sure that the public does not think that we are deciding to not go forward with the Town Green project, or that we are deciding that the golf course is more important. And I think when you look at the overall amendment and you see the 3 or 4, maybe even 5 projects within Parks and Rec that are a part of this adjustment, you will see that although they may cost different amounts of money, they are spread out all over different projects of Parks and Rec, so that we could show a bigger bang for our buck immediately, knowing that we will have to bond out to go forward with that Town Green project. Just want to make sure everyone understands that. Any other question or comment? Okay, seeing none, then I make a motion that we approve item 20-623.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. Councilman Watts, and Councilman Davis, I think, second as well. Did you get it, Miss Assistant City Clerk?
Yes, we got Councilman Watts as the second.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Candace. It's been properly moved in second to approve item 20-623. Do we have any additional comments or questions from council members? Thank you. Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 20-623 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright.
Thank you.
We'll go back now to item A. Adopt an ordinance to amend the City of Douglasville's fiscal year 2020-21 SPLOST Fund budget. Ms. Karin, Callan, and Shane Byrd are here. If there are further questions or additional questions the council or Madam Mayor may have, I know we have had 2 discussions on this, and this is basically the document that would then authorize the funds for the amendment. That's the reason that I reversed the order in order to look at those. Are there any questions or comments concerning the item? Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Any comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Estes?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Estes. Thank you, Mr. Davis. No further comment. Then I make a motion that we approve item A, which is item 20-577.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve item 20-577. Is there a second, please? Thank you, Councilman Watts. It's been properly moved in second to approve this item. Do we have any further discussion as relates to this finance item from council members? Thank you. I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 20-577 is approved. Now we will move on to the next committee, which is Housing and Community Affairs Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We move on to item number 10, which is Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Councilman Davis. Personnel and Organization Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in personnel and organization.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Watts. Then we'll move on. We do have several items in this next committee, and so we'll ask that you would pack your patience, and we're going to prepare to go through all of these items. So it is Planning and Development Committee, and that's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you for your patience there, Madam Mayor. Just
You're welcome.
Need a clarification on something.
Yes, sir.
Planning and Development, we have several items tonight. Item A is a motion to remove from the table item 20-584. That is item 20-625. Make a motion to approve.
Thank you so much. I have a motion to approve item 20-625, which is to remove from the table item 20-584. I have a motion to remove from the table to approve. Do I have a second, please? Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. It's been properly moved in second to remove from the table item 20-625. Do we have any additional comments or questions as it relates to this item from council members? Thank you. I don't see any. All those in favor of removing 20-625 from the table, please say aye.
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 Okay, opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 20-625 is removed from the table.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item B
Welcome.
was tabled from December 7th, 2020. Consider a request for approval of a development plan for Oakmont Skyview Drive for 25.88 acres at 2084 and 2120 Skyview Drive in land lot 521, District 18, Section 2, Parcel 3, and land lot 480, District 8, Section 2, Parcel 1. Plans dated November 6, 2020. Application by Oakmont Packlet Acquisitions, LLC. Ms. Williams?
Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. At this time, we have no new information to add.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Questions or comments from council or Madam Mayor for Ms. Williams? Or I assume that there is a representative from Oakmont Packlet if there were questions. Councilman Davis or Councilman Estes, any questions?
No, sir.
Councilman Estes?
No.
Thank you. Seeing
No,
none?
Mr. Chairman.
Again, for the record, Ms. Williams, I'll just make sure that we ask the question each time concerning the development plan, that all necessary documentation and all of the work that has been described in the development plan is within the scope and approvability of the council, correct?
Yes, sir, it does meet the requirements.
Thank you so much. Hearing that, I make a motion to approve item 20-584.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 20-584. Do we have any additional comments from council members? Questions? Thank you. I don't hear any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Councilman Estes?
Aye.
Aye.
Davis, okay, thank you.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 20-584 was unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll move
You're
on to
welcome.
item C.
Mhm.
Consider a request for plat approval for the purpose of lot line revision for 25.88 acres at 2084 and 2120 Skyview Drive in land lot 480, District 18, Section 2, Parcel 1, and land lot 521, District 18, Section 2, Parcel 3. Application by Urban Engineers Incorporated. Ms. Williams?
Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. We have nothing new to add. The applicant is with us tonight if you have any further questions.
Okay, well, I know we had discussion on Thursday night. Consider this item, about this item, in order to allow for a lot line move within that 25 acres. No questions or comments. Anyone? Mr. Davis?
No, sir.
Mr. Estes?
Nothing from me, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, sir. Seeing none then, I'll make a motion that we approve item C, 20-630.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Adams. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 20-630. Do we have any further discussion as it relates to this item from council members?
Just want to question,
Sir.
Madam Mayor.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's catching up now. I'm sorry. I did not see that we had a motion on that, but just want to make sure that the system is slow tonight. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I know it hasn't come up on my screen either. But it's been properly moved in second. Motion by the chair, Councilman Adams, and second by Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Terry Miller, to approve item 20-630. We did not have any additional comments or questions. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay.
Aye.
The ayes have it. 20-630 is approved.
Moving on to item D, authorize the mayor to sign a development agreement with IDI Logistics LLC. It's item 20-629. Ms. Littlefield?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As we discussed in your legislative meeting, this relates to pending litigation between this developer and the city. While it does not obligate the city to approve the zoning they have requested, if you do approve the zoning they have requested, then this provides a settlement and ensures that the developer will fulfill its concessions. So if you approve it, it will settle the lawsuit.
Okay. Questions, comments? Mr. Estes?
Nothing on this item, thank you.
And Mr. Davis?
Nothing on this item.
I'll speak on the next item.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. Madam Mayor, do you have any question or comment concerning this item?
No, sir.
Okay.
Anticipating your motion.
Seeing none, then we make a motion to approve item D, 20-629.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion to approve item 20-629 as stated by the chair. Do we have a second, please? Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. It's been properly moved in second to authorize myself to sign a development agreement with IDI Logistics LLC. Do we have any further discussion as relates to this item, in regards to this item from council members? Thank you. I don't see any. I don't hear any from the two on virtually. All those in favor of approving 20-629, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay, the ayes
Nay.
have. Oh, Councilman Estes, you had a nay? Or
Yes.
Nay.
And Councilman Davis.
Davis, nay.
Okay,
Sorry,
let me
this is
see.
for item D.
And this is for item D, not E.
Yes, it would be a nay for me, I'm sorry.
Okay. So we have, Ms. Candace, do you have it? It looks like it's
So we have
four.
for the nays, we have Councilman Sam Davis, Councilman Howard Estes,
Mhm.
Councilwoman Dr. Berdanley, and Mayor Pro Tem Miller, correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's what I had. I'm looking at the screen. So, so this item is not approved. Okay. So 20-629 is denied.
Question of council, Ms. Littlefield, if this item is not approved, then do we go forward to the next public hearing?
Yes, sir, please do.
Thank you. Next item, item E, hold a public hearing and consider a proposal to rezone from PUD, Planned Unit Development District, with a base zone of R6, single-family attached apartment residential district, to LI Light Industrial District with special conditions for 95.052 acres, land lot 169, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 4. Application by the City of Douglasville. Ms. Williams?
Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. At this time, I'm going to defer to Ted Meeker, our outside counsel.
Thank you.
Mayor, council members, as I read last Thursday evening, I'm going to read a similar statement tonight, and that is that the city...
Mr. Meeker, would you give us your name and address for the record?
Ted
I'm
Meeker.
sorry to interrupt.
No
I'm
problem,
sorry.
excuse me. Ted Meeker, 14 East Broad Street, Noonan, Georgia. The city and the applicant stipulate that the documents and evidence presented at the July 6, 2020 City Council meeting are admitted into the record in the hearing tonight and are incorporated into the minutes of this meeting by express reference. As I stated last Thursday, this is simply to save you all from being inundated with the paper that goes along with the presentation.
Thank you,
But
sir.
those documents are incorporated into this record.
Okay.
Just want to make that clear. Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. I presume that the applicant would like to make a statement, and I would allow that at this time.
I have no new information. Kathy Sickert, Suite 3100, 1230 Peachtree Street, Atlanta, and I have no new information to present.
Thank you very much. Okay, this being a public hearing, we do need to give opportunity for anyone to speak either for or against. I would please ask you to provide new information only on any information that you come forward with. Understand that you may or may not have been in the meeting on Thursday, and please do not be offended if I stop you if we've already heard that information, just in the essence of time, that's all. So identify yourself, name and address for the record, and I would like to see if there's anyone here to speak for the applicant first. Is there anyone here that would speak for this application? Please come forward. Okay, seeing none, then we will now hear from those that may be opposed. Thank you for coming.
Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
Whitney Kenner Jones, 3211 Ann Coates Street, Douglasville, Georgia. And I just would like to start by saying respectfully, I do feel like IDI is attempting to bully the city into approving their zoning request in filing this lawsuit. The city, or the IDI, is relying on a case from 1984, DeKalb versus Wapinski. And while that case does state that testimony about increased traffic and other inconveniences is not sufficient, they failed to point out or address the remaining points in that particular case, which have been brought before this council in each and every public hearing that you all have had on this issue. The facts do remain that the residents who have come before you specifically affected by IDI's potential rezoning of the property to allow more than 1 million square footage of warehouse within a mile of the entrances of tributary villages and tributary at New Manchester, as well as the amenities center that is located in between both of those two neighborhoods. We come before you twice to address that there's going to be reduction in property value. That is not an assumption. That is not based on opinion. It is based in solid fact. I did research on similar areas, and there was a particular study done by experts out of Northampton County, Pennsylvania, where they were proposing to put a 822,000 square foot warehouse in the middle of neighboring areas. Similarly, in this case, they want to do over 1 million square foot of warehouse. That in that study, it resulted in an approximately 11.5% decrease in property values. We've already had one resident come and testify that her property at this point, even with the increase in value in the surrounding areas and neighborhood, her home still has not recovered. The value was about 60% of what she paid for it. So this is a fact and an impact that the residents who already live close to Keehee are experiencing. So we're really requesting that you don't do that to the remaining residents of the area. In addition, in that study, they placed particular emphasis on air pollution that was going to be caused by increased truck traffic trips. In that particular case, the increase in truck traffic was only about 554 trucks. In this particular case, it's 680 trucks. So logic would indicate that we are going to see an increase in pollution, air pollution, and there has not been a significant study that's been done on that particular issue or presented to this council for you to be able to make a valid and informed choice as to whether or not to improve this. In addition to those 680 trucks, there's also going to be an additional 11,000 car trips created by this facility, which will also increase air pollution in the area. Additionally, we would like to present to the council that safety concerns absolutely have to be considered in a rezoning request. It's generally accepted among many researchers that incidences of crime on average are higher next to vacant warehouses and buildings of that nature because they provide optimal cover for people to run whatever illegal activities that they wish to do. And their IDI already has areas or warehouses in the area that sit vacant, and they don't even have a proposed tenant for this new space. So we are raising the potential for safety risk and concerns in those areas. Additionally, if in this area, and it's consistent with the progress that's been made currently. So we are still falling in line with what is the highest and the best usage of that area. At this particular time, they're citing to the fact that this area has not been developed in approximately 15 years. However, the property was not marketed. There was no courting to the area of other individuals. And as you can see from other issues that have been approved by this particular council, that if you are requesting for apartments to come here, if you're requesting commercial to come here, people want to be in Douglasville. So it's not as though this property is going to remain remain vacant indefinitely. Additionally, this council had the same issue before it in 2017 when they denied the rock quarry. The members of the community came out and spoke at length. In that particular case, they had red yard signs. Now we have red t-shirts, but it's the same issue. The residents don't want it here. It does not benefit us. And factually, the elements that are needed to force the city council to approve this request just are simply not there. And so we urge that you deny their request. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Someone else?
Evening. My name is Davin Auble from 9930 Mancunian Way in Douglasville. I know many of you. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak this evening. I have spoken at the previous two meetings, and I do have different arguments and quotations and citations I wish to make. The Council for IDI has made it crystal clear that they have a big, fancy, complicated traffic study, a very expensive traffic study, and so traffic doesn't matter. So I've got nothing to say about traffic and accidents and roads and stuff, nothing to say about traffic. I do also want to bring up the concern about my home values. I literally bought my house 2 years ago simply on reputation because my friends told me this is the best neighborhood in Douglasville. It's the most expensive neighborhood in Douglasville. It was so great when they first built it that the city of Douglasville actually went out and annexed it because it's not contiguous. It's actually was originally in county property. And so I never dreamed I would find myself defending our becoming a light industrial district. Third, I would like to go to this question of the environment, which is cited extensively in the ARC report that is in their report from July. The ARC did not endorse this on regional points. It said the general area is extremely important from an environmental standpoint because of its location near the Chattahoochee River, Sweetwater Creek, and Sweetwater Creek State Park. There's also this question of whether it is subject to a separate review under the Metropolitan River Protection Act, and I know they will respond that they are getting grandfathered in. What I found kind of interesting as I dug a little deeper into this with the ARC's Natural Resources Group comments, it appears to me that if you approve this rezoning to light industrial, they do in fact get that river disposition grandfathered in. However, if you decline to rezone it, then the Metropolitan River Protection gets to look at it as whatever the zoning was in 1998 before it was first changed. So personally, I say let the river have its say. Let there be a hearing with the Metropolitan River Protection Act and the Chattahoochee Corridor Plan because our county and our state has changed a lot in the last 22 years, and maybe the environment's going to be a lot more important. I personally would like to see us give our children the opportunity to use that green space, that beautiful green space south of Riverside Parkway, in the way which is intended in the Douglasville Land Use Plan, that long green area that could be mixed use development. Most of it is still zoned residential and state park. That can still happen. And the other piece in the ARC regional review, that there is in fact this vision of an actual trail that hasn't been taken into account. And if that were to happen, careful consideration and coordination by not only Douglas County Planning and Development, not understanding they needed to mention Douglasville City Planning and Development, but the Douglas County Department of Transportation, the development team, and regional partners on the Chattahoochee Riverlands vision will be necessary to ensure the viability of this regionally significant project is not impeded by the DRI proposal. I would love that walk. You know, we'll give up Riverside Parkway. We don't need to be on the bike on Riverside Parkway. We'll cross the road and we'll go down and we'll walk and we'll play and we'll dine and we'll do what we want to do with that vision of a river trail. And lastly, I just wanted to say something that kind of amused me from the ARC recommendations. Amongst their recommendations were not to approve this proposal. They said instead we should be identifying areas to preserve as future large parks or conservation areas. It said that we should develop opportunities for heritage, recreation, and agriculturally based tourism initiatives. Those sound good, but the funniest one is actually from the ARC's Regional Industrial and Logistics section. So industrial and logistics, they like IDI. Strategies are needed to avoid residential and industrial conflicts while still allowing both uses in proximity to each other. Recommendations include protect the industrial and logistics areas by not allowing conflicting land uses in the vicinity. There's already conflicting land uses. There's a lot of residents. There's new development. There's new retail. So please, I implore you, please protect IDI from our neighborhood. And I honor you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
Kevin McGuire. I reside at 3252 Bakewell Street, Douglasville, Georgia. The original concept for Tributary at New Manchester called for an outdoor adventure center, retail shopping, and a supermarket and close to 2,400 homes. There was going to be a resort and golf course located on property which was owned by a third party, adjacent next to the village, neighborhood, and Tributary at New Manchester. There were going to be homes built up and down Riverside Parkway between the village and riverbanks, all interconnected. In 2008, the economy collapsed. Gradually, land was sold off. The resort and golf course turned into warehouses for a cold food distributor and an MRO supplier. Parcels that were owned by the original developer turned into more warehouses, data centers, and apartments. We have and will continue to go to Planning Commission and City Council meetings to voice our opposition in the zoning of property, in the changing of zoning of property that surrounds us or part of the original, or is a part of the original neighborhood, original development. Because our dream neighborhood, our dream community is disappearing. My wife and I did our due diligence before we purchased in 2005 to ensure that there weren't going to be any warehouses or businesses or light industrial around us. That's changed since 2008. At the City Council work session meeting this past Thursday, the representative for IDI said that emotion should not be taken into consideration when making a decision regarding their request for a change in zoning, that only the law should be considered. I'd like to read a couple of things. First, from the University of Texas McComb School of Business from this year. Emotions, that is to say feelings and intuitions, play a major role in most of the ethical decisions people make. Most people do not realize how much their emotions direct their moral choices, but experts think it is impossible to make any important moral judgments without emotions. Inner-directed negative emotions like guilt, embarrassment, and shame often motivate people to act ethically. Outer-directed negative emotions, on the other hand, aim to discipline or punish. For example, people often direct anger, disgust, or contempt at those who have acted unethically. This discourages others from behaving the same way. Positive emotions like gratitude and admiration, which people may feel when they see another acting with compassion or kindness, can prompt people to help others. Emotions evoked by suffering, such as sympathy and empathy, often lead people to act ethically towards others. Indeed, empathy is the central moral emotion that most commonly motivates pro-social activity, such as altruism, cooperation, and generosity. So while we may believe that our moral decisions are influenced most by our philosophy or religious values, in truth, our emotions play a significant role in ethical decision making. Next item from the City University of New York regarding ethics and law, dated 2002. What is the relationship of morality to law? When enough people think that something is immoral, they will work to have a law that will forbid it and punish those that do it. When enough people think that something is moral, they will work to have a law that forbids it and punishes those that do it repealed. I remember reading years ago when I was in college that morals and ethics are the foundation of our laws. In essence, our laws, our morals, and our ethics are dictated by our emotions. Without emotion, we become apathetic, indifferent, impersonal, detached, dispassionate, cold, and uncaring. I've heard the reason IDI is again requesting a change in zoning is because precedence has been set. The representative for IDI at this past work session stated that if the City Council does not approve their request for change in zoning, they would sue. We are told that if residents want to see change in this community and to have a voice, then we need to come to Planning Commission and City Council meetings and speak up. Why? Especially when our words appear to fall upon deaf ears. If IDI's request for a change in zoning is approved, then the only precedence that will be set is that any corporation that can come into this city and get their way simply by rattling their saber. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Fielder Roberts, 3219 Blackley Old Road, Douglasville, Georgia, 30135. I know I've been here before you as just Fielder. Tonight I'm here, not just as Fielder, but also as one of the resident board members for Tributary HOA. So, like you guys on City Council, I'm responsible for representing right now 651 families within Tributary, and by end of year, 685 if projections hold true, and that will continue to grow as we continue to parcel out what remains of the neighborhood and develop it with D.R. Horton and any other home developer that wants to show up. I can assure you, and the neighbors in here can attest, not one of the families in Tributary supports this rezoning request. In fact, we ask you to deny it. Furthermore, like yourselves, our board is tasked with ensuring health, safety, and general well-being of our community within our neighborhood. To see if this development was in the best interest, I looked at the Sweetwater community off of Preston Boulevard, which you on council should remember. They were here quite recently because of IDI in the last few years. The facility that is right next door is IDI Warehouse. It was built in 2017. When looking at the home values in 2017 and 2018 in the county's own GIS system, our own system, there is only an increase of 5% on average for that neighborhood in actually assessed values with land and overall improvements that the city and county agreed that that's what the home should be worth. Now, if you look across the street at Tributary, we had an average increase of 10%. It's an increase still, 10%. The only difference between the two neighborhoods is the proximity to the warehouses. Now, if you look further down the road, still within the city, Waterford Park off Chapel Hill had a 29% increase in their assessed values. Guess what's missing over there? Warehouses. There's not a warehouse near that neighborhood. So I urge you personally on behalf of every family in the neighborhood that I represent to deny this rezoning request. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Someone else.
Mr. Chairman, we're at about 3 minutes left.
Thank you.
I'll be brief. My name is Aaliyah Roberts, 3219 Blackley Old Road, Douglasville, Georgia. I'd like to start my comments by emphasizing a point made in the 2018 Comprehensive Plan for the City of Douglasville. Douglasville is a unique blend of small-town charm coupled with metropolitan amenities, offering the ideal environment for startups and small businesses, providing high-tech centers and Fortune 500 companies the infrastructure for growth. I'm going to skip some stuff for some time, but basically pleasant and quality of life for both visitors and residents alike. Douglasville is the premier city in the nation to live, work, play, and raise a family. Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller, you said the same thing last week about the emphasis on a live, work, play environment for the city of Douglasville. In the comprehensive plan is the notion that Riverside Parkway is a region to be mixed-use design, providing an opportunity to ensure new growth that would be in accordance with the character of the neighborhood in which the development is located. There is so much additional residential currently in the works on Riverside corridor, and this rezoning is likely to put a nail in the coffin for any attempts at future retail and commercial that could possibly be a part of that live, work, play. I ask you to think back to the decision reached back in July. Your evaluation of the rezoning request and ultimate denial deemed that it did not fit within the grand vision of the city of Douglasville and the appropriate use of the land. The applicant was understandably upset with this decision and is now forcing the hand of the civic process to demand reconsideration. However, I ask, in this reconsideration, has any new or compelling information been presented to convince the council or concerned citizens that this project will not adversely affect the health, safety, and well-being of the community at large? No. Instead, the applicant has stamped their feet in frustration and offered nothing that indicates that the decision reached in July should not stand. During a vote, Councilwoman Miller said it best when she indicated that a rezoning of a property is a privilege and not a right. Furthermore, the applicant is not even the property owner, True, they are acting in support of the property owner, but that owner is a land investor that bought the property under full disclosure and understanding of its current zoning. Since zoning decisions are legislative and thus discretionary in nature, it is our request as citizens of this great city that you stand firm and confident in your decision to deny this request, as you did back in July, and do so again tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Are we out of time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will then open the floor for any questions that Madam Mayor or Council, Councilman Estes and or Councilman Davis may have. Madam Mayor, do you have any comments?
I do not. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'll just go around and ask if there are any before I call upon the two council members that are virtual with us. Any other comments or questions concerning the item? We have used the time allotted. Okay, I'll call upon Councilman Davis. Do you have any question or comment concerning the item?
No, not at this time.
Councilman Estes, what about you, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have a couple of comments, but I'll try to be brief. This afternoon, I Googled the role of city council members. Two results that popped up. First, from the National League of Cities, states council members are empowered to make policy decisions and to approve ordinances, resolutions, and other legal legislation to govern the health, welfare, comfort, and safety of the city's residents. And the second result from the Georgia Municipal Association, quote, as local legislators, council members are responsible for and responsive to the citizens who elected them. We have heard ad nauseum from the residents of this area for months now with their opposition to this project. And as far as I can tell, the only potential positive impact of this project would be on corporate profits and law firm revenues. And the pursuit of those over the benefits of the citizens shows a complete disregard for the all too real quality of life issues for the existing residential development in the area, and a contempt for the citizens of the city of Douglasville. In addition to representing Ward 5 on this council, I am also a resident of the area adjacent to the parcel in question. And whether public comment statements are legally considered evidence or not, I can assure you that all of the statements you have heard from the area's citizens have been true. None of the people on the IDI side of this issue will ever have to live in or with the daily dangerous consequences of this kind of development. But many of the other people gathered in this room and beyond will definitely have to live with the decision made tonight. In order to, quote, be responsible for and responsive to the citizens, I am requesting that this council once again deny this zoning request. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comment? I feel as though I should give the applicant the opportunity to say anything that they would like, simply because you didn't use any time. So if there was anything that you would like to rebut, I would welcome that. Okay, seeing none. Any other question? We have heard from several folks tonight. We have no other comments or questions. Okay. Hearing none, then we will move forward. I will make a motion on item 20-620 to deny.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion on item 20-620 to deny. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Second.
Mayor. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Estes. Ms. Candace, did you get, or that's Ms. Emily back there?
We have Mayor Pro Tem Miller is the second.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been properly moved and second to deny item 20-620. Any further discussion as relates to this item from council members? Thank you. All in favor of denying this item, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Oppose? Nay? The ayes have it. 20-620 is unanimously denied.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Pardon me, Madam Mayor, I'm just waiting on an electronic vote from Councilman Davis and Councilman Estes.
Councilman Davis, could you do your, the electronic vote did not come in. Would you please state your pleasure?
Deny.
Thank you. Councilman Estes?
We have Councilman Estes.
I just did it, but it's denied.
Okay, it came back. Okay, thank you so much. The thing is coming up on the screen now. Do you have everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Assistant City
Thank you,
Clerk?
Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. I apologize, Mr. Chairman, for
No
the
problem.
delay.
Just want to make sure we're ready to move forward.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next item, item F, hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for an event center for property zoned NC Neighborhood Commercial District, being .56 acres at 8709 Hospital Drive, land lot 50, District 1, Section 5, parcel 105. Application by Kimberly Melson. Ms. Williams is going to help us with that.
Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. At this time, we have no new information. The applicant is with us if you have any questions.
Okay. Are there any questions of the applicant? I know we did have a public hearing on Thursday. We did ask questions of the applicant at that time, and we did discuss the possibility of this being this land use permit, special land use permit, being tied in time to the lease rather than it having to be a one-year renewal.
Yes, sir.
Questions, comments? Madam Mayor, did you have any?
No, sir. I just was reiterating what you said.
Okay. Councilman Davis, any comment?
No comments at this time. Thank you.
Okay. And Councilman Estes?
No comments, thank you.
All righty. Then I would make a motion on item 20-587 that we approve special land use permit for applicant Melson and that we tie the length of that special land use permit to her lease. And that's my motion.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. And Councilmember Davis, did you get it, Ms. Candace?
Yes, ma'am. I have Mayor Pro Tem as the second.
Okay. It's been properly moved in second to approve item 20-587. Slept with the information as read in the record by the chair to approve this application with the applicant, Ms. Milson's current lease. Do we have any additional comments or questions as a concern or concerns as relates to this item? Thank you. Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
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 Thank you so much. Opposed? Nay.
Aye.
Got you. Councilman Estes and Councilman Davis are ayes. Any nays? No. So all, it's been properly moved in second, and we have all the ayes. The ayes have it. So 20-587 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're
We'll
welcome.
move on to item G, consider approval of an application for a temporary business registration for personal services, tattoo, and body piercing only for James Vinson at 6700 Douglas Boulevard, pending approval of his application for special land use permit for this use. Ms. Callan's name is on this, but Ms. Williams, I'm assuming with you being there, you being here, you are going to handle that for us.
I'm sorry. Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. Karen nor I have any new information to add tonight.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant here, or is there someone on the phone representing the applicant?
There is an
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead, ma'am. If you would identify yourself, give us your name and address for the record, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
I am Dr. Sharon Evans, 1657 Cambria Drive, Unit A, Greenville, North Carolina, 27834.
Good evening, ma'am. What can we do for you?
Good evening.
Any information?
No new information. I'm just here in case anyone has any questions. We hope that we will be granted this approval, and then we're going to continue to go through the other process. I think that happens in February.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments concerning this particular item? Gee, you all of a sudden a quiet group. Councilman Davis, any question or comment concerning the item?
No, sir.
Councilman
Not
Estes?
at this time.
All righty. Councilman Estes?
Nothing from me, thank you.
Righty. Item G then, 20-622, make a motion to approve.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion to approve item 20-622. This is an anomaly. We normally don't do it this way with applicants, but it just fell outside of what our normal process, and so they'll have a permit temporarily as this is approved, and then they'll go back, as she said, and continue to go forward.
Madam Mayor, we need a
This
second.
this is not the,
We need a second on this.
oh, I apologize. It's been, do we have a second? Thank you for that point of order. No, we do not have a second. Do we have a second? Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 20-622. Do we have any additional comments or questions? Thank you. Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Got your aye, Councilmember Estes. So the ayes have it. 20-622 is unanimously approved.
Madam Mayor, just a point of order. We'll get through this a lot quicker if we could have folks that would give us a second.
They're shy on the seconds. I don't know what's
I'm not
going
sure what it
on.
is tonight. Maybe they don't hear me. I'm not sure. Moving on to item H, I'd like to be done as much as you all would. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for change in zoning for PRD, Planned Residential Development District, in the Quality Growth Development Overlay to amend the special stipulations of zoning to the PRD plan, site plan, to relocate the parking, buildings, and pool to address environmental constraints for 38.78 acres on Riverside Parkway and Summer Lake Road. Land lot 176, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 1. Application by LMC Lennar Multifamily Communities. Ms. Williams?
Okay, Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. At this time, we have no new information to add. We do have the applicant here if you do have questions.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Ms. Julie Sellers, would you come forward, I presume, as the applicant's representative?
Thank you. Julie Sellers, 1776 Peachtree Street, 390 North, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. We have no additional new information. Happy to answer any questions that the council may have. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Council, do you have any questions or comments before we call for those that may want to speak in approval of or in denial of this application? Questions or comments of the applicant? Mr. Davis?
No comments.
Mr. Estes? Mr. Estes, can you hear me? Okay, we tried. Pardon? Okay. I'll ask if there would be anyone that would come forward in speaking in support of this item, this being a public hearing with new information. We would welcome that at this time. If not, is there anyone here that would speak in opposition to the item? Please come forward. Seeing none, then we will close this portion of the public hearing, and if there are no other comments or questions of council, I will make a motion that we approve item 20-586.
Second.
There you go. That was quick. So it's been probably moved in second by the chairman. Made the motion, Councilman Adams, and second by Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller, and I think a second by Councilmember Estes. Double entendre. So do we have any additional comments as it relates to this item from council members? Thank you, not seeing any. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilman Davis? Opposed, nay.
Opposed.
You oppose this one for the quality growth issue? This is item H. Okay.
Yes, I oppose that one.
Okay. So the ayes have it. 20-586 is approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We'll move on to item I. Consider a request for approval of a development plan for the preserve for 38.78 acres at Riverside Parkway and Summer Lake Road, located land lot 176, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 1. Application by LMC Lennar Multifamily Communities. Ms. Williams?
Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. The proposed plan does meet the requirements of the UDO. Other than that, we have no additional information to offer.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Questions, comments? Council, this is the development plan tied to the previous public hearing approval for the development plan to be approved. And as you've heard, Ms. Williams has already stated that all of the required documentation and work is complete and approvable. Anyone? Mr. Davis, any comment?
No, I'm good.
And Mr. Estes, are you back with us?
I am.
Any comment, please, sir?
No comments from me.
All righty, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can, thank you. If there are no other additional comments or
Okay.
questions, thank you. I'll make a motion that we approve item 20-631.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Thank you so much,
Second.
Councilman. Thank you so much,
Second.
Councilman Watts, Councilman Davis, and Councilman Estes. I believe the Assistant City Clerk, do you have it, Ms. Candace?
We have Councilman Watts as a second.
Thank you so much. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 20-631. Do we have any further discussion as it relates to this item? Thank you. We don't see any. I don't see any. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 20.
Aye.
Oh, thank you so much, Councilman Estes. Councilman Davis?
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. 20-631 is unanimously approved.
Pardon me, Madam Mayor, Mr. Chair, just for clarity, the previous item, I have Mr. Davis, Councilman Davis, as a nay. Is that correct?
Yes.
Item H, that is correct.
Okay. And he is for an aye on this current item, correct?
Yes, that's what he said.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you all for coming in. Appreciate your hard work on that item, and we look forward to working with you.
Good evening. Merry Christmas.
Last item tonight under Planning and Development. Consider a request for final plat approval for the purpose of subdividing into 91 lots, 40.59 acres at Chicago Avenue in land lot 224, District 2, Section 5, Parcel 2 and 15. Application by Addison Blakesley, Pristine Land Services, LLC. Ms. Williams?
Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. The final plat does meet the requirements of the UDO. That's all we have to offer tonight.
And do we have the applicant by chance on the line to have any comments?
Mr. Addison is on the line. I'm unsure if he would like to provide comments.
He is on the line?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, would you like to make any comment? Mr. Blakesley? Okay.
He's currently on mute.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments that the council or Madam Mayor may have for Ms. Williams?
I'm here if y'all have me.
Yes, sir. Mr. Blakesley, could you identify yourself, name and address for the record if you'd like to make any other comment?
Yes, sir. Addison Blakesley, 4131 Bolingbrook Drive, Marietta, Georgia, 30062.
Okay. Any additional information you'd like to provide?
Ooh, bless you.
No, sir, not at the time.
Okay. Are there any questions, comments? Mr. Davis?
Not at this time.
And Mr. Estes?
Nothing for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Madam Mayor, you had a comment or question? Go ahead.
Yes, sir, I had a comment. I was just going to say that we did have some concerns brought up, and I think Mr. Blakesley addressed those as far as the topography was concerned in regards to cul-de-sacs. And so I did look at some information as cul-de-sacs, but I know Mayor Pro Tem's going to provide more to me. And we talked about the WSA issues with the detention ponds, and that was addressed as well. So some of that, and going in, egress, and you know, coming in and out of the subdivision. I think another driveway or way of entry was allotted on the plat as well. So those are some of the concerns, I believe. I was just trying to do a brief synopsis of things that we brought up, but outside of that, it seemed that Councilmember Byrd and I were delighted that this is moving forward, that this development is moving forward. So thank you so much. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Others? Any other question or comment? Seeing none, then I'll make a motion that we approve item 20-632.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Thank you so much, Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Byrd. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 20-632. Is there any further discussion as it relates to this item outside of me bringing up some points. Thank you. I don't see any. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 20-632 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's all that we have tonight.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. You did a wonderful job. We'll move on to item 13, which is Public Improvement and Beautification Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Public Relations Committee, that's chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes. Councilmember Estes, can you hear me? Under Public Relations. He's on mute. You're on mute, Councilman Estes.
No business this evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. Good to hear your voice. I wasn't going to let you off the hook. Okay, we'll move on to Public Safety Committee.
I know that.
And that's chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis. Councilmember.
Okay, I have
Yes.
some items. Item A, hold a public hearing to consider a request for the change in agent outlet manager and transfer of the alcoholic beverage license for the retail package sale of wine and malt beverage and spiritual liquor at the following establishment. Current licensee, Arbor Place Beverage Depot, INC. DBA, Arbor Place Beverage Depot. Proposed license, Arbor Business, LLC. Location, 7455 Douglas Boulevard. Current agent outlet manager, Kim Heshan. Proposed agent outlet manager, Heshan Farsi Patel. The required fees have been paid into the finance department. Would applicant please come down? State your name.
My name is Kishan Patel, 1412 Rundle Court, Smyrna, Georgia.
I'm Thomas
Okay.
Choi, CHOI, at 5164 Beaufort Highway, Doraville, Georgia, 30340.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all for coming out. There any questions from the mayor and council before I make a motion?
I don't have any questions or comments. We appreciate you all coming in and delighted that you want to continue this business.
Okay, if not, I make a motion, we approve item number 20-617.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 20-617. Do we have any comments or questions as relates to this item from council members? Thank you. I don't see any. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
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 Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 20-617 is approved.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Have a happy holiday.
Thank you. You too. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving right along, item B, hold a public hearing to consider a request for change in agent outlet manager for the consumption of premises of wine and malt beverage and spiritual liquor. Licensee Rare House Hospitality International, INC, DBA, Longhorn Steakhouse, number 5011, location 8471 Hospital Drive. Current agent outlet manager Robert Reese. Proposed agent outlet manager Joey Telefesta. The required fees have been paid into the finance department.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Agent Outlet Manager is here.
Joey Tefelsky, 3735 Brook Hollow Drive, Douglasville, Georgia, 30135.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
Mr.
thank you, Joey, for coming back. Before I make a motion, do we have any from the council?
Councilman Estes.
Nothing
Okay.
from me, thank you.
Okay, any other council members? If not, Madam Mayor, make a motion, we approve 20-618.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion to approve 20-618. Do we have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 20-618. Do we have any additional comments or questions as it relates to this item from council members? Thank you. I don't see any. All those in favor of approving 20-618, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Okay, you have an aye. Councilmember Adams, you can raise your hand.
Aye.
There you go. It's unanimously approved. Item 20-618 is approved. Thank you. The ayes have it.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Okay, moving right along.
Yes, sir.
Soon as the streams clear up.
Mm-hmm. It's coming together still.
All right, here we go.
Uh-huh.
Hold a public hearing, consider a request for the change in agent outlet manager and transfer of the alcohol beverage license for the retail package sale of wine and malt beverage at the following establishment: Current's Licensing, NR Enterprise, INC, proposed license, Winona Business LLC, DBA Global Food Mart, location 12241 Veteran Memorial Highway, current agent outlet manager, Brazil Dazena, proposed agent outlet manager, Emeran Hyder. The required fees have been paid in the department. Applicant, can you please step forward?
Good evening. Imran Haider, 1193 Mill Ridge Drive, Lawrenceville, Georgia 3046.
Okay, do we have any questions from the mayor and council or make a motion? Councilman Estes.
Nothing from me, Councilman
Okay.
Davis.
Thank you. If not, Mayor, make a motion, we approve 20-619.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion to approve item 20-619. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved in second to approve item.
Second.
Yes, sir. It's been properly moved in second. I think the second was from Councilmember Adams. Okay. It's been properly moved in second to approve item 20-619. Do we have any further discussion as it relates to this item? Thank you. I don't see any from Councilmember. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The ayes
Aye.
have. Thank you so much. The ayes have it. 20-619 is approved unanimously. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the community. You're welcome. All right, Councilman Davis, you have your last item.
Okay, moving right along, it just came up. Item D, adopted ordinance waiving enforcement of $500 late fee required by City Code Section 1023B for the filing of license renewal application and the payment of license fee from alcohol beverage license for the calendar year 2021 and authorize the refund of such late fees already paid.
Okay.
Ms. Callan?
Okay, we have our Finance Director, Ms. Karin Callan, coming forward to address this issue.
Yes. Does anyone have any, from the mayor and council, have any questions before I make a motion?
We'll let Ms. Callan, I think do you want to say anything first, Ms. Callan?
Councilman Davis, I just spoke to Ms. Littlefield, and I think there needs to be a change on the agenda item that's loaded.
Yes, miscommunication. The words "and payment of license fees" should be stricken from that item in motion. It is only for the waiver of application fees, late application, not late payment of license fees.
Application.
Which was that is what was discussed, but what we have attached does not reflect.
Mr. Davis, can I restate your motion for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Adopt an ordinance waiving enforcement of the $500 late fee required by City Code Section 1023B for filing of license renewal applications for alcoholic beverage licenses for calendar year 2021 and authorize refund of all such late fees already paid.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Councilman Davis, you also have someone here that would like to speak.
Okay.
Mayor, my name is Bing Mora. It's 4019 Ashland Circle, Douglasville, Georgia 30135. And I just, have a problem with the $500 fine because my restaurant, we haven't been open for the past 9 months, and then they said they're going to fine us $500, because the fee is $500 for renewal. but
Right.
they're gonna charge $500 for the fine, and I don't think it's fair because, because there's no paper saying, indicating that, we charge for late fee. Like the state, for example, the state, they indicate like how much, would be a fee for the late fee, what day you have to turn the paperwork in. But with the pandemic, with the mailman carrier, they can't enter, it's like different mailmans, to the building. So when I brought my paperwork there, and they say, well, you have to pay $500. I said, for what? He said, because it's the for late fee paperwork. I said, well, there's no one indicating that, and I didn't get my mail a certain time, with the pandemic going on. I mean, with right now, we all small business, suffer from this, pandemic already, and we have to pay a fine. I don't agree with that, So that's why I asked you, please consider that because, right now we have to open to pay our employees and, like make sure our restaurant open, that kind of thing. And it's not fair, it's not right, So that's why I want to come up and talk to you all about that. And I appreciate you here, what I have to say. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. Anyone else?
Mr. Davis, I would like to ask the individual here. I don't recall that that you gave your name and address for the record. And can you identify the business?
Yes, my name is Bing Mora, and my address is 4019 Ashland Circle, and the business address 4900 Stewart Mill Road is Sakura Sushi and Grill.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone else?
Yes, yes, sir, Mr. Davis. How long have you been the operator for the business? I've been in there before.
We've been there like 13 years, and this thing had never happened like this, I mean, when I brought my paperwork to the office to pay, and the gentleman that he was really not friendly, he said, well, I don't care about the mailman. Well, I said, sir, I just got my mail. As soon as I got it, it take time to go get all, you have to get it like, how do you say it? It's like the people like have to sign for it.
Yes, be certified.
Yes, like
ma'am.
that. Because it's hard. A lot of banks, they don't open, like it's like, so it's just hard for us to do that. So when I turned in the paperwork, and he wasn't nice, he said that, well, I don't care, you have to pay the fine, And I said, sir, but there's no thing indicating that we had to pay the $500 fine. That's how much our renewal is, Right now, it's so hard for us to be, stay open, pay rent, and pay employee, that kind of thing. And it's not, and I just try to stay calm because I was so upset with the gentleman. But I said, you know what? It's okay. Just take a deep breath, But to us, it's like, we know it's a risk to be open,
Yes.
And then we have to open, to survive. That's how we do. But we can't put $500 for a fine, only the $500 for renewal. And I understand if I don't mind like a late fee, like 10%, but it's like 500, it's like 100%. For the fine, and that is not right, That's just how I feel, you know
Yes,
what I mean?
ma'am.
So that's why I get a little upset.
I understand. You're passionate about it. We appreciate you coming in and apologize if someone was rude to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And just, Ms. Callan, is there a record of this business being late in the past, or is this the first time? She's not been late in the past. Okay. All right, so maybe we can look at this on a case-by-case basis and not lump all of the businesses together. That can be another option as well, to look outside of after we take this vote. So we appreciate you coming in. Apologize for any inconvenience. We definitely want you to be supported and to continue to thrive as a small business owner in the city of Douglasville. There was allotments made by the chamber, the city, Google, Switch, and the Economic Development Authority to award grants, and we'll probably do that program again for small businesses, and maybe federal monies for PPE and all of that for CARES Act to apply for to help you stay afloat.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Have a nice holiday.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I apologize for deliberating a point. I'm just trying to get some clarity.
It's okay. So if anyone else?
Yes, I have
Okay,
a comment.
Madam.
I have a comment, Chairman
Okay.
Davis. I just wanted to, I thought about this over the weekend. And I know it's typically not something that we would do, and not trying to set a precedence. However, we didn't plan the COVID-19, and it's not going away. I didn't think about what the business owner just stated about the mail, and I didn't think about that over the weekend. My mom and I were talking about it today, And I live on New Horizon side. Sometimes, unfortunately, my mail doesn't come until 8 p.m. Sometimes the mail doesn't even run. And I work, even where I work, there are days that the mail carrier did not deliver the mail. So, and I said I was going to talk to the postmaster. So, it is very unfortunate that the businesses, some of the businesses, I don't know how they did, some of them did not know about the chamber, but hopefully if there's another round that we make sure that at least the businesses that are in the city get information. So
Yes,
those are my
ma'am.
comments. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Chairman, we have another comment from a council member, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Mr. Chair. You mentioned a couple of the businesses that are offering help to small businesses, and it made me think, when we say the names like Google and McMaster and some of these, I mean, we as a city tend to jump through hoops to try to help these big businesses, either locate here or expand or whatnot. And unfortunately, it's oftentimes the small businesses that don't get paid attention to or don't get that break when they need it. And I think that here's an opportunity. I mean, it's not a whole lot of money, but like this lady pointed out, it is a lot of money to a small business like that. And I think that it would behoove us to show support for these small businesses in a time like this, especially when we've set the precedent to do what we can to help large corporations and large businesses. I think we should show a little mercy to the small businesses as well.
Yes, sir. And I believe the grant was $750,000. And there were 35 or so businesses. So it was, it was a competitive process. And we did open it up for the entire community. They pushed it as much as they could. But, of course, everyone, don't receive information the same way. So we'll make certain that if that round comes up again, that we try to be more aggressive in getting people out there. And of course, we don't have any control over the mail, but we will certainly speak with the postmaster and see. And everything is not how it typically is because we're in a different situation with the pandemic. So, but duly noted, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, we definitely want to be supportive of small businesses in the city. Any other comments, Mr. Chair?
You don't want to ask for, I make the motion.
Okay. I just have one question right
yes,
quick.
Yes, Councilmember Miller. Nicole.
And that might actually be to Ms. Callan. With the application process, if it's not listed in there that there's a $500 fee, is that something that maybe we need to go back and look at so that when these businesses are doing that, they are aware of the dates and deadlines?
It is listed on there.
Okay.
It's listed on the top.
It's on the top?
Top portion, yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Adams, I just want to reiterate my point. In no way, I own a small business myself, and in no way wanting to be a bearer of bad news or not be supportive of our downtown businesses or our city businesses. But I think, again, that if we do this for the alcohol licenses, then I'm going to assume we will probably be hit with a number of similar situations on business license. And so it is difficult for me to support singling out one group and not assisting all. And I believe that was the basis for our trying to stay neutral as a donor to that fund that was set up to help our small businesses around the community. And so for that reason, I would find it very problematic if we approved only doing this for the alcohol licenses. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adams.
In that case, I have another question. Sorry.
Yes,
and that is, if we do not move forward with this ordinance, is there a way to look at it on a case-by-case basis? Okay.
Well, that's actually a legal question, I think. So let me give you the legal answer.
Yes, thank you.
Certainly, you can look at it from a standpoint of pulling up the numbers, but you set yourself up for problems with equal protection challenges from other folks who did pay the fee and now are not getting the advantage. So I think you want to be careful in singling out folks. Also, you need to remember that whether or not they receive their mail, they've practiced their business with us for several years, and it's right there in your code of ordinances, whether we tell them that again or not. So I'm not advocating either way with regard to the passage of this ordinance, but I think you want to be very careful about singling out folks to give relief to.
You.
Ms. Littlefield, of course, we're trying to beat this horse to death, and I'm not trying to, but I just want to ask if we were to, is there any kind of provision, not singling out, but if we listen to a hardship to make installments but still require the fee to be paid?
There's nothing in your ordinance with regard to that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Oh, I apologize.
Chairman
I
Davis,
apologize. We have Dr. Byrd.
Right, just for clarity, the fee was not, if a fee was not paid by November 15th, then it must be paid by December 3/1. Is that correct, Ms. Callan?
Right.
So what's on the table is that the late fee be waived, but they would still have to pay the $500 by December 31st. Is that right?
Right.
Is that right, Ms. Callan?
If they don't file their initial paperwork by November 15th, then we do have a late fee that will be assessed of $500. Yes.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Callan, basically, this is the fee that would accompany the application for renewal.
Yes. Well, then there would be another $500 fee December 31st if they have not filed and paid.
Okay, so potentially $1,000 late fee on a license that costs how much?
Some are $6,000, some are $500, some are $1,000.
Depends upon what type of alcohol they serve.
Correct.
But all of the late fees and/or application fees are equal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And Mayor and Council, what staff can do is take a look at the overall process and make a recommendation for next year, and we can present that at the retreat that you have in February.
Yes, ma'am. Because the other thing is not just the waiver of the penalty for being late, but also that we would have to refund those persons who were late and paid their fees for the penalty for being late and
do you have a calculated amount of how much that would be?
Of refunding, $4,500.
$4,500.
There's about 9 people that have paid the late fee.
And as far as the business license, and I do agree with Councilman Adams as it relates to not doing one group and not looking at the other, but for business license, what would be the astronomical cost on the high end?
Yeah, they work at June 31st. Business licenses are due, but we do not bind them until March 30th. So I do agree that the ordinance needs to be looked at during the next council.
So, but the fine would be for a business license?
It would be 10%.
Okay, of what?
A straight 10%, yes. And that's a little bit different than our alcohol license because it's a flat fee of the $500.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I guess one last thing, if we're going to be looking at this in the coming year, in this ordinance,
retreat, yes.
is knowing what other municipalities are doing with regards, how much and other factors.
Yeah, in preliminary research, it's 10%, 20%. And then like the county, I think one of the comments I received is the county has their everything due at 12/31. You don't have a portion due at 11/15 and then another due at 12/31. Everything's just due at 12/31.
Yeah, that might make it easier too.
Right. But the reason why we have it due is because we catch a lot of these agent outlet manager changes on 11/15. So we do that. We might create some more problems, but we will research and recommend one that works.
Well, a good thing is every time a problem becomes apparent, it helps us to straighten the process out.
That's true.
And I just have to make another comment, and it's doesn't have anything to do with alcohol. It has something to do with just people, period. When I think about there are businesses that have lost their business. There are people who have lost their home, and it's awful. And like I said, we did not plan COVID-19, and it's not over. So I just want to remind all of us just remember grace.
Yes, ma'am. Any other
Okay.
comments, Mr. Chairman? I believe you can make your motion.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve 20-634.
Thank you so much. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Byrd to approve item. It's been properly moved in second by the chair and second by Dr. Byrd to approve item 20-634. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
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 Raise your hands. Let's get a count.
Aye.
Okay, so I believe that we have three. And four. You're an aye to approve it? No. So the ayes are, Councilman Estes, did you vote aye to approve?
Yes.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Councilman Estes, Councilman, you made the motion, Mr. Chair, Ms. Candace, Councilmember Dr. Byrd, Councilmember Nicole Miller, and Mayor Pro Tem. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Councilmember Miller?
Were you in favor or against?
Favor? Okay. And opposed, nay, please. Okay, and we have 2 opposed. The ayes have it. 20-634 is approved.
Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman. We'll move on to item 16, Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in Recreation, Culture, and Tourism.
Thank you, sir. Technology Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Technology Committee at this time.
Thank you, sir. Transportation Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Byrd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No business tonight.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Do we have any other business to come before committees tonight? I mean, not committees, but some council members in the meeting. I will just make a quick report that I have made a complaint to the postmaster about the mailbox on Campbellton Street. I believe in the last 6 months we've had 2 break-ins, and from my understanding, they've said to me that they're getting a new post box. That one was outdated and was antiquated, and so they had to get a new post box for us to draw. We want our mail to be secure, and I've made a request for him to maybe put a camera. And so some of the post workers said that I should do that in writing because they ordered a new one, but it did not have a camera. So that was that. I did follow up with the External Affairs Director from the county about our delegation meeting. We did have some concerns about that meeting that we had last week with our state representatives, and so they will follow up with the chair and give me a report back, and I will report that to the council. We do have festival lights downtown in the city of Douglasville. I believe we had questions about the O'Neill Plaza and Jesse Davis Park and other facilities in the city of Douglasville and the downtown area, and all the lights are up for Christmas, and we ask the citizens to take advantage of the beauty and visiting the downtown area and the parks. All of our parks are decorated as well. It's really pretty. Updates from our city. Any other council members? I apologize. I want to move too fast.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd just
Yes,
like
sir.
to say thank you to the staff and to all the hard work that's been done in order to provide those lights. We were out on Friday night riding the golf cart around town and then over to Jesse Davis Park, and it is a huge success as far as I'm concerned. We do have one small Christmas tree on the stage, left rear corner, that did not have any power to it, and so my grandson and I tried to just plug it in or make it work or something, and it didn't help it. So just for whoever needs to know about it, we do need to address that issue, but it's just beautiful, and I really appreciate all the work, appreciate all the efforts on everyone's part to make it a great Christmas season here. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Councilman Adams. Have you taken that note, Assistant City Manager, about the tree in Jesse Davis?
Yes, ma'am, we will have.
Oh, where
On
is
the
it?
stage here.
Oh, on the stage,
here in
with
the
the big
plaza.
bulbs and all of that?
One of the small white Christmas tree, left rear corner.
Oh, it probably has to have snow on it like the rest
No,
of the
no,
snow.
no,
No, I know you. It needs lights.
We'll have public services go out and check it out in the morning.
Thank you so much. Any other comments from council members? Any other business to bring forward? Thank you. I don't see any updates from our city staff or city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business. business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Dotson has given us some directives after our council meeting that we should take care of. Our Chief Assistant City Attorney, Ms. Suzan Littlefield. Thank you, ma'am. Employee of the Year. Our Chief of Police, that's not the chief, I think that's Captain Stafford.
It is. We have no business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, sir. You all continue to be safe. Our Assistant City Manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson.
Yes, ma'am. Just a couple of announcements. Just want to remind you all, this is your last council meeting for 2020. The next council meeting will be January 7th, 2021. Also, just to remind that City Hall and all other city buildings will close on Wednesday, December 23rd, starting at 3 p.m. They will also be closed on Christmas Eve, December 24th, and Christmas Day, December 25th. And City Manager Marsha Hampton just wants to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. She is on the line, so if she would like to say something.
Oh, I apologize, City Manager. I didn't mean to overlook you. Please, if you have
I did not want to say anything, Mayor. Just Merry Christmas. That's all. Everyone be safe.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and your families as well. We do have a swearing in at the county for the new elected officials, and that will be the 29th, I believe, of which is that the 29th of December? It's one of those days, but it's virtual, and then there were some invitations given, but it's very limited. I think each elected official has 2 or 5 people that they can invite to the courthouse, to Citizens Hall. Okay. Any staff reports? Your City Manager? Okay. Comments from citizens and delegates. You sustained the meeting. You're welcome to come forward. You have 5 minutes to address myself and council members.
Hello, Madam Mayor.
Your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Marshall Phipps. My address is 79 Brookside Court.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to give you all a general update regarding my project regarding the train at Hunter Park. First things first, 501c3 status is still pending. I have yet to receive a notification from the IRS. So it is safe to say that 501c approval will not be happening until next year. Secondly, Larry Pierce. For those of you unaware, he is still in the hospital. However, he is doing better, so thank goodness for that. The plans to recover the original train carriages that belongs to the engine at Hunter Park, me and the Heart of Dixie Railroad Museum are still going forward with that. I do still plan on having those cosmetically restored with the engine at a later date and put them on display, likely at the park, assuming we can get the rail depot moved there.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the bike trail, I remember looking at the budget, seeing that it was put on hold, the Hunter Park Trail, and I would like to have a private meeting later on with the financial manager and the city manager whenever that is applicable, since I do like to incorporate that bike trail with the railroad, so that way, again, the city can get its fair share as well, though it's something I do plan on doing later on down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, things are still going on track, surely but surely. But yeah, overall, things are still going ahead. I know it's going to be a bit pretty tricky to get everything together, but I do believe it can be done.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Phipps. Congratulations on graduating from college as well with your degree in film and minor in business, I believe. Marketing. There you go. So thank you for the report as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments from citizens and delegates? I do have sad news to report. I'm not going to end on a sad note, but I would like to announce to the council members that we lost someone in our community that many of us know. He served on the Boys and Girls Club, Rotary, Board of Foundation, the Development Authority, Mr. Terry Baggett. So if you can please remember he and his family in your prayers this week and this year. It's been very difficult for many of us, and we've lost too many people in our community. So I would ask us to remember those families this time of year from COVID and just sickness, and how it's a happy time, but it's also a time of sadness for a lot of people, and that we'll reflect and remember everyone in our city. And I just wish the staff and my colleagues a Merry, Merry Christmas. Thank you for all of your hard work throughout this entire year. This has been a challenge, to say the least, and you all have pivoted and been so gracious to come to these meetings. Even today, we were kind of under duress coming to a council meeting, but you said we're not going to let fear stop us from doing the business of the city. We were determined, and declare victory and just still continue to come and serve. And so thank you all for your sacrifice and that you've given from your families, time from your families. And this time, it really has been beyond what was expected, sincerely. I think the police department, our public works, our parks, Ms. Patrice, all of the departments, Mr. Gregg, with maintenance and sanitation, IT, everyone has had to pivot and do things differently. Our legal team, it's just been a blessing. Thank you all so much for everyone in the city and how we've come together as a team. So I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, all of those things. Anyone else have comments before I adjourn the meeting? Thank you all so much. I appreciate you all. God bless you. Merry Christmas. This meeting is adjourned.